Welcome back to the channel. Since starting Your Average Investor back in 2020 throughout the COVID pandemic, I've done consistent or semi-consistent portfolio update videos showing you exactly what's going on within my stocks and shares ISA. Last week I spoke about my decision to move away from Vanguard as a platform to hold my investment, to hold my ISA from this tax year moving forwards, based on the increase in fees and just based on the fact that on Vanguard you have to pay fees and you can't invest in fractional shares, whereas Trading 212 allows you to do all of those things and more. I've always had an account on Trading 212 anyway to hold my individual stocks and shares, but what the move away from Vanguard has allowed me to do is to pool all of my equities investments into just one place. Don't worry, I haven't moved away from Vanguard completely. Within this portfolio, as you'll see today, I've actually kept my Vanguard ETF portfolio in a pie. I last did the Vanguard portfolio update back in June of last year, so around 12 to 13 months ago now. And at that point it was valued at £22,643. And equally, my last Trading 212 update was over 2 years ago now, and at that point it was valued at £5,515. So collectively we're looking at around £28,000 for those combined portfolios around 12 to 13 months ago. And today we're going to see exactly where it sits now and what's been going on. Before we go any further though, there are a few important points to make. One, none of this today constitutes financial advice. These are my own investments and I've made the decisions to invest in these companies and in these ETFs based on my own goals, my own targets, and my own timeframes. What I do might not be right for you, so you should never just copy what somebody says on the internet. Equally, me opening up and showing you my entire portfolio is not meant to be any sort of flex or a look at me approach. This is literally to track my own progress and show actually that consistent investment of fairly small amounts over time can mount up to be a fairly sizable pot, and really show that absolutely anybody can do this. Investing is not just for the rich, for the wealthy out there. It's actually a way to secure your financial future and build your wealth. Let's hop in and then have a look at my Trading 212 portfolio. Remember, this was valued at around £28,000 combining the Vanguard and the Trading 212 portfolio about 12 months ago. If we hop in, we can see that the current value of this portfolio is £38,708.94. So we've seen some significant growth over the last 12 months through both capital gains, dividends, and also through my own periodic investments. Over the last day, we're up 0.2%, so we're up £107. And if we look over the last 3 months, we're actually up over £5,000. We're up £5,185 in the last 3 months, 15.6% gain. Now, that's because we've been coming out the back of kind of the crazy tariff news, and also because of some of the investments that I hold. Nvidia, for example, BAE Systems has done particularly well as well. And we've also seen the rebound of certain ETFs following the US trade deal announcements, particularly around Japan and in Europe in the last few days. Before we go any further though, if you haven't used Trading 212 before and you're thinking about starting using the platform, you can sign up through my referral link, which gives you a free share valued up to £100 when you sign up and invest £1 through the platform. What we'll do now then is look through each of my individual investments. You can do that by scrolling down the left hand side over here. And we'll start off with what I've called Target 55. And this is essentially a pie which holds all of my old Vanguard ETFs. So if we click through to that, you can see on the left hand side over here the performance over the day, the week, the month, and then 3 months, which is up 14%. Obviously, if we click on the year, I didn't actually move it across until April, as I said, so it's not necessarily the most accurate at the moment. My Vanguard ETF portfolio has always combined 6 different ETFs to essentially replicate the VWRL, but for a far lesser fee than investing in the VWRL itself. The S&P 500 is currently my largest holding within my portfolio as a whole. I've currently got £15,629 invested in the S&P 500, and it makes up 53.16% of my overall pie, and I'm targeting 62%. I currently hold 171 shares within the S&P 500, and that's all contained within this pie. The second largest is the Emerging Market ETF, and I currently have a value of £4,167. We're up around 13.5%, or just under £500. And it currently makes up just over 14% of my portfolio. If you click through, we can see that I currently hold just over 80 shares within the Emerging Market Fund, and something that I couldn't have done on my old platform was to actually invest in fractional shares. We've then got the Vanguard FTSE Developed Europe ex-UK, so that invests in all of Europe excluding the UK, with a total value of £3,175. I'm up 21.5%, or £560 in total. If we click through again, you can see that I've currently got 85.5 shares within the VERX. Next, we've got the FTSE 100, and the UK only makes up around 4 to 5% of the overall global market. I'm targeting around 9% here instead of the 4 to 5% that I should be really. And it's currently 10.3% of my overall ETF portfolio. We're just over £3,028 of value there. Up around 28.2% or £666.41. I currently hold 76.5 shares within this ETF. We've then got the FTSE Japan ETF. I'm targeting 7% and I've got a value there of £2,069. We're up just over 14% with a total return of £276.85. If we click through again, you can see that now I've got just under 70 shares within this ETF. And then finally, we've got the FTSE Developed Asia Pacific ex Japan ETF. It's got a current value of £1,329. We're up around 11.5% and it's returned to me around £137. So overall then, my Vanguard ETFs are currently valued at £29,402.44. Up around 31% or just under £7,000. If we work through the rest of the portfolio down the left-hand side, then we've got Nvidia. Nvidia's had a massive run recently. I will click onto Nvidia actually. Over the last 3 months, we're up 64%. And you can see we're reaching all-time highs at the moment. It's gone exponential over the last few months. I currently hold 17.5 shares, valued at £2,349. We're up 64.35%. My current average is $102 and we're currently sat at just under $180. So really nice growth here for me. And again, I did move these across from my general investor account into an ISA last year as well. So actually some of the gains are masked here. My average is actually quite a lot lower than that. The next is Microsoft. So Microsoft, I've got just over £1,000 of value invested into Microsoft. We're up 14.7%, which has seen a return to me of £128. Got just under 2.6 shares overall. Next, we've got Realty Income, one of the larger dividend payers within the portfolio. You can see it's tracked fairly sideways since the COVID dip. However, it does give a dividend of 5.61%, so I'm getting around £3 a month here with my current value. We've got £771 of value invested into Realty Income and just over 18 shares. Next, we've got Alphabet. I hold just under 5 shares in Alphabet with a value of £708. Up around 12% here. So we've got Apple next. I'm up just under 12% with a total value invested of £683. We've got Amazon after that, which, like you can see here, has seen the jump up. I hold just over 3 shares of Amazon, £538 and just under 17% rate of return overall. BAE Systems has been a fantastic company. I currently hold 26.8 shares in the company and I am up 42.8% as well. We've then got Coca-Cola, a staple company, 8.2 shares of this company. I'm up 8.2% as well, funnily enough. With a value of £419 here. We've then got Shell, not had the best of years. It's down 3.1% over the last year. However, I hold 13.6 shares in this company. I've held them for a long time and I'm down just under 5% or just over 5%, so down £20 in this investment. Rio Tinto is very cyclical with it being a mining company. I hold 6.83 shares in this company and I'm down just under 10% in this investment. Legal & General is one of the newer companies in my portfolio. I hold 118 shares in this company. This year it's up 11.4% and I am up 7.5%. So I've currently got £302 invested in this company. I'm up £21.17, which doesn't include the dividend that I received from them, which is fairly large. It might have been my largest individual dividend that wasn't in an ETF actually, around £15, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. Pfizer, bit of an ugly duckling of the portfolio. The last year it's not done particularly well. I hold 16.33 shares in this company, just under £300 worth of capital there, and I'm up, or down, sorry, 10.5% since investing in this portfolio. AT&T has actually done really well over the last year. It's up 45%, and I'm up 46% in this company. Just under £90 of return to me, and I hold 13.5 shares in this company. We've got Starbucks, which got hammered when Trump announced the tariffs because of the very large tariffs that were placed on coffee. Dropped down to kind of around £80 per share with a low just under 80. But we've seen a nice rebound since then. So over the last 3 months, we're up just under 12%. I'm about level here. I'm down 0.5%. Unilever, not had a particularly good year, down just under 7%. I'm up 14% in this investment. I've got £257 invested in this company.
And then finally, we've got Johnson & Johnson, again, another dividend payer. I'm up 5% in this company. So I hold 2 shares in Johnson & Johnson and I'm up just under 5%. The final thing we're going to do is click through to the history tab. You can see all of my deposits, etc. But we're going to have a look here at the dividends. Now again, I've held this ISA since last year, since May or April of last year, 2024. I hadn't moved across all of my ETFs, but I have moved across my individual stocks and shares from the general invest account. And since that point, I've seen £369.54 of dividends. I've only been paid dividends on my ETFs once. You can see how large they were here across each of the individual ETFs that I hold. Massive month for the FTSE Developed Europe ex UK. And there we have it, my trading 2-on-2 portfolio, which has obviously got all of my investments now, my Vanguard ETFs, and my individual stocks and shares. Moving across and away from Vanguard was a real difficult decision for me to make, but now I've done it, I'm really happy that I did so. Makes things a lot easier to hold everything in one place. And some of the functionalities I really like as well from trading 2-on-2. If you want to see all my future portfolio updates, please do also subscribe to the channel. As always though, thank you for watching. Thank you for being back on the channel. Now I'm back and posting consistently, and I'll see you in the next one.